00910. Dame de eso. Boom, boom, wait, wait, wait. Boom, boom, wait, boom, wait, boom, boom, wait, wait, boom, boom, boom. Wait, wait, boom, wait, boom, wait, wait. Boom, boom, wait, wait, wait. Boom, boom, wait, boom, wait, boom, boom, wait, wait. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, wait, boom, wait, boom, wait, wait. Boom, boom, wait, wait, wait. Boom, boom, wait, boom, wait, boom, boom. All right. Are we good? We are good. Alright, so diving back into the case, I hit a to be continued point in the trial for Miss Gina Lestrade. It's not looking good for her because she is being tried for allegedly shooting Mr. Windebank. But I don't believe that she did. No one for real believes that she did. And we're just trying to find out, like, put the puzzle pieces together to see exactly how Windebank is dead and how it wasn't Gina's fault. My theory is that even though the evidence as of right now shows only one bullet was fired from each gun, it had to have been more than one bullet fired in there because one shot Sholmes, one is Mr. Windebank, and there's a bullet left in the calendar still. So, sorry, there's a fly in here. So there's like evidence that that more. There's definitely more to be found out in the trial, but there's just way more than what we initially thought. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop talking so we can get back into this. I just needed to check stream real quick, and then we're gonna dive in. Well, I just checked stream. Stream is fine. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Oh, shit. They sweating now, boy. I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination? Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov, I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Oh, blimey! This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windebanks. Well, it was bedtime soon, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out me lacy lockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Oh, blimey! On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never done nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out? You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. We hear you. We'll speak. We'll peach. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshots he made us both jump and all that stuff and flying. Lumi, it didn't give me half a fright. We was thinking the shooter'd come out the door and got us next. We stuck everything back where we found it in Scarper, straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had the chance, did we? So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windham's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied it up. Yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on the hearing of the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't make us sound a bit more cutthroat? It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windibanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye, I'm sure of it. Hold it! If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo. We old China. Me old China. We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done, landed yourselves in even more trouble. Oh, well, that's rotten luck, says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied up the place. Sorry. Hold it! So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked those things off the counter. Well, it knocked one of us. It shocked one of us that much. She had the bag of nerves need to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, all right. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up with that bang. Big Berthier screamed like a blooming baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a land of books, a candlestick, and some skull and whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame? What knocked them scales on the floor? You really mastered working quietly then. What a racket! Me granny would have been scared back into her grave at a chatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse and then... Excuse me! Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with those scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony? You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only... Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows into the yard for questioning last night, and the statement they gave told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, God, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still, I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with the testimony here, fellas. If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring these very harshest punishments to bear against them. Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yep. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. Give me that gun. So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously? We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we had a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Kinda thing. Career in acting tragically missed. And where were the verses coming from, could you tell? Of course you could, from the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winterbank. On my granny's life course it was. On his granny's life course it was. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Winterbank and the sound of his voice. So that would mean what? What, Nash, what? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. No. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke in all the fancy car was giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On his granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. It's a good job his granny's dead. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tidied up the little good boys. Anyway, the way I see it, the bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so you should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Winterbank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, I bet that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, man. More like an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Winterbank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person he was going to shoot beat him to it, cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun." And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot? It's more or less at the same time, Gov. Give me that gun. Kind of thing. Yes, a career in acting, very tragically missed. And we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. Before everything went dead quiet. And after that, done a slapdash job tidying the place up. Ignore me. It didn't give me half a fright. We was thinking the shooter come out the door to get us next. So you didn't try to open the storeroom door then? Not in your life. It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? No way that was opening. Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gov, it was. From the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps. Don't ring no bells, no light, no lights. Oh, wait. Okay. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see, but one day we'll really cut the mustard. Please cut it out. But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Cub, that's right. We couldn't have, even if we wanted to. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered, straight into him in the black.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something. So they clapped the darbies on us like winking. After you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. Well, listen, that proves it, doesn't it, eh? We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? And why should we believe that? What? Well, because it's true, isn't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterbank. Correct. You got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterbank? Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What is it, Bruno? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. It's nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry. People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words that they choose. You can take all that in your brain and will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you described. You concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old. I must be 5.
Objection!
You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbeck, was wielding a gun? Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. He has, Nash. He has, no question. And yet, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yeah, that's right. 2 right, Nash. 2 right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence.
Objection!
So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windenbank, was wielding a gun, is that correct? That's it, Gov. You've got the picture. Yes, Nash, yes, no question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windenbank was not holding a firearm of any description. You what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in that incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windenbank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Yeah, that Maltula used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Kind of thing. Stay exactly where you are. Stay right there. Huh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described it in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, are you sure, counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates the inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Oh.
Take that!
It's gotta be the autopsy. According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. I slept on my neck, man. This shit hurts. But it's the God honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When we were shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, and we saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windenbank holding a gun? Or something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash, Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, it weren't supposed to, It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witnesses would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, you see, cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it will do to us. Who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. But, bruv, come on. The game's up. But you'll have our guts for garters. In case it hasn't sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and we heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed us his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. Poor old geezer, the bulk was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him and then legged it through the door in the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop? Well, yeah, sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. This is the moment I've been waiting for. You say you had nothing to do with it? Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shoved himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We knew it was because we tried to open it. But it was a decent door, that one, good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windenbank? Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of the trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windenbank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possibility to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of two conundrums. Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Bruno? No, I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If he believes someone else could have killed him, killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the victim fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain on the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that his body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled my gun on him and then he legged it through that door in the back room. If Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, then we have to assume that the door was open at the time. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the finding of the Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Poor man. Shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body in an upward trajectory. So if the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windibank, I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim that the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But... What if someone else locked the door? Yes, there's someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? Yes, that's a tricky one, that... isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I've locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh, yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windermere were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windermere must have heard intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, then that will leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom hoping to escape danger. Hidden aback by a bullet, Mr. Windermere fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windermere. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, you gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one. That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windermere's murder. Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all? I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as that dense fool, or whatever it said. As a dense forest. That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know, for the first time ever, and probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely they will have a verdict of not... An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing? You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. I dare say, such... Never seen that word before. Is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pedophagy here. The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zieks, might be an idea to explain. Whatever. The fatal flaw of my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets? Oh dear. He noticed then. Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir. Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. Two bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life, and the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet early in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar. Your Lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know the two firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these two brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find that if a single bullet was fired from the brother's gun, what is going to hit Mr. Sholmes, it means. Windibank was not shot by the same gun. Stop. Only one bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Zieks. But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conducts. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. And as we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. That disc. I'll be taking that whatever it is of Miss McGilda's down to the yard, thank you very much. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is, mine. Sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilda has to be taken in as evidence now. Yes, that music box disc. McGilda's music box disc. The accused attempted to make off with this article which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious. Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on the account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that this fact. The court forgets that fact at its peril. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence counsel as a grim twist on it. Oh! Lord Van Zeeks, Inspector Gregson, what? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the yard in the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that disc wouldn't be used as evidence. What's all this about? Why was the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all. I'm unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed. Bailiff! The prosecution has established the accused motive's opportunity and baseness of character. Oh, Bruno, look. This is blood. Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed before. It's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash! A lovely bright shade again. Wait, that color. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? There's nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Reno. My lord, wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about it in a fog up to now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's bally obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no. Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. We have eliminated the impossible. Whatever remains must be the truth. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Gyarados Grandra is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on which grounds you have to determine the defendant to be guilty. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say, huh? Different breed to its law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see this truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I am in for a busy day ahead. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I don't know about guns. I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But then that fell apart like a house of cards. I saw that I jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more. Whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair. That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Gina's done something she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually. That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that this man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but the surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fella's name now? Hurlock? No, Herlock? No, Hairlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord! It was a Hairlock fellow!
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right, using the very last anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major OP, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. The counsel for the defense is correct. As clearly shown in the photographic print, the bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Sholmes hit him in the stomach region and exited his body and lodged in the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound on the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together.
Where's an expert when you need one?
Here, I got one for you right here. Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. What?
Oh, a ballistics expert.
Pitting. P-I-T-T. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume that the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Veden. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction in the facts that's so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night, there was blizzard. I was running away along mountain roads in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on a dog sleds. Not so no, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And in this situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound. Then, where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. Made very deep wound that looked just like bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all.
Hmm?
The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country.
just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps the 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where's this pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks? While I realized it was forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene found from where Mr. Sholmes was injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it's not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand that the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Sherlock Holmes's pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it? Look at that, one of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass file explosion that caused the fellow's injury.
The bullet did not penetrate the victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. Delightfully complex aroma. Well, it appears one mystery has been solved at least, though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. Oh, we didn't get it yet. The bungling and burglaring brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to his bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Oh, look, there's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look like much of a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the lever with great force. It must have pierced it somehow and left this hole behind. Yes, it looks that way. Mr. Sholmes and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they? Ooh. File has been smashed to pieces. Presumably this is where the bullet struck. As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in the file, there would have been a really big explosion. A big explosion? Well, Hurley's potions and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work he does, but they're also quite tricky to handle, safely at least. They're very dangerous. Oh, I'm sure that when this file broke, the chemical inside would have ignited. Note to self. Always walk on the right-hand side of Sholmes in the future. The left is the danger zone. It's really scorched badly just here.
The strap is broken, look.
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
That's a bullet!
What the? Iris, look!
Behind where the broken file was, do you see it?
Ah, that's the Skulkin Brothers bullet.
What a stroke of luck that hit his pouch. This is amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night. We found exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Yunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around somehow, I'm sure of it. With this bullet that I got.
Hold it!
That's...
Oh no, that's another matter entirely.
Sorry.
All I can think about for the moment is this wonderful sense of relief.
Controller died.
I need some time to let that sink in before I could possibly consider anything else.
Alright. I thought surgeons had to be able to think quickly. Perhaps we should leave him alone while he savors his inner peace and focus on some of the other jurors. I suppose we'll have to. I wish I had the chance to experience inner peace sometimes. Wait, did I hit It's Impossible? Ugh. I just found it. Oh my god. I hit It's Impossible. Oh my god.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired. What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit his pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know where the whereabouts of a bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Winterbank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Arf. Motherfucker said, ow. What? Facto would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As my pejorative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. I think I might stop here because I'm getting really hungry and it's getting dark. It's getting late. I think I've streamed enough. I'm gonna save right here. My neck is really fucking killing me. But thanks to those who stopped by on the stream, and I'll definitely finish this soon. Probably tomorrow. I'll see you guys.